afternoon, and welcome back to My Harlem Portraits, the show that aims at shedding the light on the fundamental contribution of African Americans to the building of this country and on Black excellence. And to represent Black excellence today, we have a very special guest, Mr. Ronald Smokey Stevens. Welcome to My Harlem Portrait.
Hello.
So, Mr. Stevens is one of Broadway's great musical comedy performers. He is a writer, a theater and film actor, a dancer, and a documentary and short filmmaker. You are doing quite a lot.
Yes, I am.
So, in January and February of 2022, you performed a one-man, two-character play, which is an adaptation of your first published book, I Just Want to Tell Somebody, directed by Stephen Byrd at the Theater for the New City. It was a great success, and so TNC has called you back for a return engagement, which is happening right now, from the 1st of June to the 18th.
That's correct. That's correct.
Congratulations for that.
Well, thank you so much.
So in this play, first of all, I would like you to tell us what it is about and about the two characters that you play in this play, and how did you come to think about that?
Okay, my show is entitled I Just Want to Tell Somebody. My show chronicles my life experience in the entertainment industry, and it also chronicles my early beginnings and uses of substance abuses, which followed me most of my life and career. In my production, you have or get an opportunity to see my rise in the entertainment industry on Broadway, TV, and film. I show clips of me dancing with Michael Jackson as one of the Crows in The Wiz. I show clips of me performing with the late Lucille Ball of I Love Lucy. I show clips of me doing a commercial, auto car commercial. And so you see my progressive rise in the industry, but at a very early age, I made a wrong turn and I started experimenting with alcohol and drugs. And ultimately, that continued usage throughout my life brought it to a head, whereby I got to the apex of my career, but through some severe pain, hardships, and disappointment, I fell. And as a result of falling, I found myself sitting at the bottom of life, and I cried out for help and made a personal choice at the bottom of life to change my life and to live and start over again. So my story chronicles my rise, my fall, but it also chronicles how I got back up. And that's why it's entitled, I Just Want to Tell Somebody. I think my show is very socially relevant because addiction has been an American problem for decades. And today, the equation for drug usage in America has changed dramatically because of the introduction of fentanyl.
Yeah.
Our youth, our people are being poisoned by this drug that will only give you one chance to use it. And that's it. And it will kill you. Last year, over 100,000 Americans, for the first time in history, died due to drug overdoses and substance abuse. My play shows the individual how you can not only survive, but how you can overcome and rise. It's a story that took 22 years in the making, but I'm back sharing my life story with the hope that I can save, warn, and change somebody's life.
I mean, this is so fundamental what you're doing, because it's not only here, is everywhere in the world that young people are getting hooked to these synthetic drugs.
Yes.
My times it was marijuana. Marijuana does not give you addiction, does
Right.
not kill you.
Right.
This
It doesn't kill you.
kill you. So presenting the example of someone who went through it, who experimented it, experienced it, and is here to tell us and is triumphant is so important.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Very, very important. And I'm thrilled to come and see it. I'll be there on Saturday to see this.
And we met as a result of my play being performed. As you know, I was able to win the Adelco Award for the best solo show in New York City last year, which is why I was asked back to do a return engagement.
That is, I was there and I was so thrilled for you because I know everybody at Delco and they all were telling me how good and amazing this show was. So this is fantastic. This show is a one-man, two-character play and you play both yourself and your nemesis, a sarcastic doppelganger called D-Man. How
Hmm.
did you get this idea?
Okay, when I initially wrote my autobiography, I wrote a premature autobiography because my life is still evolving. But in creating this character, I needed to show addiction. I wanted addiction to become alive. I wanted people to hear addiction, to see what addiction looks like. And so I'm able to play myself, but that other character known as D-Man appears to remind me and to hopefully tempt me again back into that involvement. So you see me fighting with D-Man, who's my alter ego or other self, but you see both of us combating on stage. So I transform from myself and then I switch into D-Man and then I switch back to myself and you see both of us in this battle for my life.
Wonderful. Very interesting. So as we said, you received the 2022 Adelco Awards last November for the best solo performance. And how did you feel to receive the Adelco Awards and all that you went through?
Well, I really want to say it's the most marvelous thing that could have ever happened. And I want to say that, as I said, it was a story that's taken 22 years in the making, and it's taken me 20 years to return back to New York City after I left in a fallen state. So the feeling of accomplishment was so rewarding and so satisfying. And it just only made me know that I'm doing what God's will is for my life. And I feel that my show is not just a show where you're entertained and you go away and have dinner and forget about it. I feel that my show is a show that people can talk about. Our conversations can be centered around addiction, and people can begin to think about people in their lives because addiction is no respecter of persons. It affects every family in America one way or another. And so it is my hope that after seeing my production, that a conversation can be started and that treatment and the knowledge of this death drug will permeate our society so young people will stop dying in the droves that they are. But it was exciting playing myself and then having the opportunity to play this other character simultaneously. And to pull it off, I'm a very good actor.
It's I mean, it's an enterprise to do that. Play two characters that are talking to each other.
Yeah.
And this question of the addiction and so on is particularly fitting and important now after this pandemic, because the people who addictions and were mentally ill before and had not been treated during the pandemic, it's a disaster now. So your show is so just
Yeah,
the right moment.
yeah. I feel that it's very important. It's socially relevant. It's socially significant, and it's more than just entertainment. There's a message
There
that
is
you
a very
too,
important message.
yes,
Very
that
important.
you too can overcome. And so,
Your raw talent and wit earned you a place on Broadway. You became a feature ensemble member of such production as Bubbling Brown Sugar,
mm-hmm,
Innocent Black, Mean
mm-hmm,
Girls,
mm-hmm,
your own musical rolling on the TOBA, and
mm-hmm.
tours of One More Time and Ain't Misbehaving. I mean, all these titles are iconic titles. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you've been in the most important place. Tell us
yeah.
a little bit about those times and what you remember with most happiness and maybe not.
Well, I am grateful that I've had the unique opportunity to perform in over 5 Broadway productions. And as you mentioned, I also created my own Broadway production that I just won an award for from the same Adelco
Oh,
committee. They
wow.
awarded me the 49th Annual Retrospective Award as the best Broadway show in the 50-year period of the Adelcos. So every opportunity that I have to perform on stage is a blessing, number
Yes.
one. Every opportunity that I get the opportunity to create my own work is even more special. Now, I enjoyed working in Bubbling Brown Sugar, which was my first Broadway show. I went on to do Innocent Black, starring Melba Moore. I went
Oh,
on to do
wow.
Dream Girls on Broadway. I did Ain't Misbehaving with the jazz vocalist Dee Dee Bridgewater.
Oh
So
my God, she's my best friend.
all of those experiences, you know, the one thing about theater I love is that I am meant to perform as an actor. That's what God placed me here to do. Somebody has to do it, right? Anyway, but I studied and I trained the technique of acting for 6 years. I got my master's degree in acting and I got my PhD in life. But what I want to say is every opportunity that you get to perform is a golden special opportunity because theater is a non surviving art form. Meaning this every show will open, but every show will close. You
Yes.
understand? Unlike movie or TV, you can always go back and watch the reruns.
Mhm.
You can go back to the movie again. But with theater, when the lights go out and that curtain closes, it's gone. And it only survives in the memory and the minds of the people who saw it that night.
Yeah.
Now that's the downfall, you know what I mean, to my profession. But acting in Broadway is a great way of communicating with people. It's a great way to teach people. It's a great way to entertain as well as enlighten people. So I've loved all of my Broadway experiences. I've loved all of my film experiences, but this is an industry does not offer longevity. This
Yes.
is an industry that is here today and is gone tomorrow, which means that you have to be in this profession in it for the long run.
Yeah.
If you're going to do this, then you have to make a commitment and know that there is no job security and that whatever you start is going to come to a close. But that's the magical thing about it, too, because there's nothing like holding 1,000 people in the palm of your hand while you perform on stage. The feeling of captivating audiences is unlike any feeling that you've ever had. You know what I mean? So I've enjoyed all of the experiences, and I have to look at this industry in a very pragmatic and mindful manner. I have to grow. I have to diversify. I can't just be just an actor. I have to be a director. I have to be able to produce. I have to write. I have to, and then dream, which are the seeds to realities. But in this business, you have to assume more than one responsibility. And it's just an up and down way of living. But when it works, there's nothing like it. But you better have thick skin because there's a lot of rejection and just a lot of things that you can't control. Basically, the thing that I can control is when I hit that stage. And when I hit that stage, then I'm in control. But all of the things around me, you don't control. And that's just the nature of the beast. And you know, Maria, I really, really enjoy having this opportunity to speak with you. I would like to remind your audiences of the dates for this current
Yes, please.
production, which is June 1st. We opened last night, and I'll be running through June the 18th. But because I'm on a show for an hour and a half, non-stop, as a solo performer, I have to be very mindful of my voice and the amount of time and things that I'm doing while I'm doing this show.
The show is going to run from the 1st to the 18th. It runs Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So from Thursday to Sunday.
It's
Sunday
Thursday,
is
Friday
matinee.
at 8 p.m.
Yes. Sunday is the matinee, and during the week is at 8 p.m. It's at the Theater for the New City in the Village. And go and see it because it's worth seeing it. I'm
And
going to see it on Saturday.
the ticket prices are also very, very reasonable. Extreme. Unlike Broadway, ticket prices are very, very affordable. Tickets can be found at theaterforthenewcity.org. You can go online and purchase or just show up.
Yes. So I wanted to say also that your films include The Wiz, as you said before, The Cotton Club and Times Square, among other. You dance with great tap masters and dancers like Charles Hornicles, Lucille Ball, as you said, Cap Calloway, and Gregory Hines, just to name a few of them. You also co-conceived a vaudeville musical, Shoot Me While I'm Happy.
Yes.
Chicago. And then you produced the show Not Variety Show at the Village Gate in New York. And also the Rising Stars Cabaret and all the productions at the Children's Theater of Harlem. So these are all very important things that you did in your career.
Yeah.
You are current. Sorry?
You hear that? I said you seem to know a lot. You've done your research.
You have a good agent. So you are now the artistic director at Capital City Leaders Theater in Washington, D.C. And you are the recipient of the NAACP 11th Annual Theater Arts Award. This is a very, very important award also. I'm a member of NAACP, and the only award.
Okay. Yeah, from the Beverly Hills chapter in Los Angeles of the NAACP, it was the 11th Annual Theater Arts Award for my Broadway show, Rolling on the TOBA.
And you have recently published your second book, The First 60 Years, The History of Afro-American Musical Theater and Entertainment, 1865-1930. Allora, this, I was going to speak Italian. I was going to say allora.
Okay.
This is also, I think this is going to be like a book that you go back to and refer to. But the history of theater, and especially the history of Black theater,
Yes, yes.
is concealed, is hidden, and they are trying to do it even more, especially in Florida.
Exactly.
Right? So this is going to be a very fundamental thing. And I'm saying this also because theater was my first love when I was about 7 or 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents always left me at my grandmother's house in September because school was closed, and she lived in the countryside. And I was very, very scared of spiders. So in the countryside, there are a lot of spiders, right? So I wasn't going out. I was staying in. And what I was doing, I was writing plays.
Okay.
And then I was dividing the different parts, the different characters. And then I was writing invitation to the children of the neighborhood. And,
Mhm.
and then I was setting up the stage in my grandmother's basement. I was the costumes were my mom's different clothes, all those.
So
And I was always,
you've had an appreciation for theater since you were a child.
always, I've always loved theater.
Yeah, yeah.
Always.
That's good. That's
So
good.
that's why I understand when you say it's a type of mission to be an actor, especially a theater actor, because as you said, there are ups and downs all the time. You're not secured a job for life, but when you have that passion, you can avoid it. You can't avoid it. When you have a passion and you're hooked like you are, that's all
Hey,
you can do.
fortunately, it's all that I've ever done, and I'm blessed to be able to have done things in Broadway, TV, film, and stages around the world. And I stuck with it.
Yeah.
I could have given up and said, nah, I'm going to go get me a 9 to 5, but I stuck with it. And so when you stick with things and you persevere and you believe and you're faithful, things have a way of always working themselves out. So I'm pretty grateful for the career that I'm having. I've done a lot of things, as you've mentioned in the past. I'm currently in my show, one man show about my life, and I'm hoping that this show will be moved from Theater for the New City to a off Broadway
Okay.
to a Broadway stage. So that is my hope. And I'm believing that it's going to happen because my show is so socially significant and important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you for having given me your voice until now because you're performing tonight. So I know you
Yes.
have to rest,
Tomorrow and
right?
Sunday. Yeah, I need to
So
rest.
thank you. Thank you for this. Thank you for all that you are doing in the theater. And I wish you the best for the show. Break your leg. That's what.
Sure, you're right. So when are
And
you coming? When are you coming?
I'm coming on Sunday.
This Sunday.
Yes,
Excellent.
this
Excellent. Well, make sure I get a chance and opportunity to see you afterwards, okay? Just stick around and say hi. I'll come up as fast as I can, but I would like to know that you really came. Okay.
will be there. Don't worry.
All right.
Okay. Thank you so much, and thank you to our viewers. See you next Saturday, 12:30, for another episode of My Harlem Portraits. Bye-bye.
Bye.